Hi, welcome to Powers Yoga. I am Andrea Powers, and today's video is part of our Yin Yoga No Props series. And today we're going to be focusing on the legs. So let's go ahead, let's get started. But actually, before we get started, let's remember our 3 principles of Yin Yoga. Every time we get into a pose, we want to make sure that we find our edge. Meaning we find a place where we feel comfortable in the pose. We find a deep stretch, but we're not forcing, we're not pushing, and we're not pulling. Next step is to make sure that you are finding stillness. Once you wiggle the body around, you find your edge, you want to hold stillness, or you want to find stillness. And then our last principle is to hold the pose. Hold the pose, and we're going to be holding the pose anywhere from 3 to 5 minutes. So let's go ahead and let's get started. Today we're going to be starting in our butterfly pose. So we're going to start, or I'm going to turn myself to the front of my mat, bringing the soles of the feet together. And you can either grab for the ankle or maybe the outer sides of the feet. I like to wiggle the body around, maybe even just remove some of the flesh out of the way so I can really feel my sit bones. Sit tall, because once we find our edge and we find that place where we feel comfortable in the pose, where we feel a nice deep sensation in the pose, where we feel comfortable, then we want to go ahead and find stillness. So let's find our edge. Let's come and take a bow. We can either hold with our spine nice and long, and I know this is a no prop series, but if we do need the wall, let's go ahead and let's use the wall to support our spines. Otherwise, if we'd like, we can take a forward fold in our butterfly pose and find any shape with the body that you feel comfortable. Another principle that I'd like to introduce to my students is to not worry so much about what you look like in the pose, but how does the pose feel, right? How does it feel to you? Maybe it feels better to drop the head all the way down. Just go to a place where you feel comfortable, where you can just relax, let go, and let gravity do the work for us today. And now we're going to go and hold the pose. We're going to hold here for about another 3 minutes or so. So just take this time now to just go within, connect with the breath. Just breathe and feel. Maybe even after a minute, you might feel the body open up, giving you an invitation to go deeper. And it's up to you if you want to go deeper or not. Maybe you want to stay right where you are. Maybe you're still feeling a little tension, so you just want to relax, or maybe you're honoring your body. Or maybe you want to take that invitation, go a little deeper for the next few moments or so, and just now relax and then go back into finding stillness as we hold for the next few moments. And one other principle I like to introduce to my students in my Yin classes is to come out of the pose slowly. Take your time, especially when we've been into the shape or position for a very long time. We want to slowly come out, taking our time, feeling all the sensations as we come out. And beautiful. Let's go ahead now. Let's move into our next pose. We're going to stretch out the back of the legs and the inner thighs a little, the groin. So we're going to come into a half a split, a seated half a split, or otherwise known in yoga as a seated head to knee pose. So let's go ahead and let's come into our seated head to knee. Find a nice comfortable position. Again, find your edge. I like to take the flesh out of the way, wiggle the body around. Find the most comfortable position. The most important part is trying to keep the knee down. It's okay if the knee comes up slightly, but not if we're feeling a pulling sensation. Then we may just want to back off. Maybe we gone beyond our edge. So let's go ahead from here. Let's find length in the spine first as we inhale. And as we exhale, we're going to fold from our hip, not from the waist, but from the hip, and let the heart melt to the thigh. And then you're going to walk your arms out to wherever you feel comfortable. And then again, maybe after a minute or so, the body will give you that invitation to go deeper, and it's up to you if you want to take that invitation or not. Maybe you want to stay where you are. Maybe you want to go deeper in the journey. And then relax, right? And we drop the head down. And if you feel the body giving you that invitation to go deeper, let's maybe take that invitation and maybe stay where we are, and then we're going to continue to hold. Once we found that edge, let's find stillness. Even scan the body, make sure you're not holding tension in the toes or the head. And then we're going to continue to hold for another 2 to 3 minutes, relaxing the head down. And now let's go ahead and let's slowly begin to bring our attention, awareness outwards. And as we slowly come out of the pose, take your time walking the hands back, being mindful. As we've been folded over for some time, we want to slowly come out of the pose. And now let's switch sides. Let's take our left leg out and we'll take our right leg in. So we're going to bring our right foot into the inner part of our left thigh. Trying to keep that right knee down the best we can. Let's inhale, lengthen the spine first to make sure that we're finding space between each vertebrae. So we find length through the spine, and then we're going to exhale, slowly walk the hands out. Let the heart melt to the thigh and see if there's any imbalances. On this side, I'm a little tighter than my other side. So again, don't worry about what you look like. Worry about what you feel. Don't worry at all. Just focus on the breath, on the sensation. Wherever you feel the deepest sensation, wherever body part is talking to you, I want you to tell that body part, talk back and tell that body part to relax. For me, it's in the right outer lower back. Not so much my hamstring of the left leg, but more on the outer hip and lower back of the right side. So I'm going to tell that right side of my body just to relax. Now about after a minute you might feel the body open up and you may want to go deeper, reset, find that edge, and then for the next 2 to 3 minutes we're going to find stillness. holding the pose as we focus on the sensations, letting our breath guide us. And now let's slowly begin to bring our attention and awareness back outwards as we slowly transition out of the pose and walking our hands towards us. And then slowly, one vertebrae at a time, lift the head up. And beautiful. Now we're going to go ahead and we're going to come into our dragonfly pose. So let's now bring both legs out, and again, if we need the support of the wall, let's do so. Otherwise, you're going to take your legs out again to where you feel comfortable. Find that edge. I like to kind of press myself forward a little, just kind of lock my legs in, even relax your toes. But let's find space again as we inhale, lengthen through the spine. And as you exhale, you're gonna walk your hands out any degree. Maybe it's here for today, and maybe we found our edge right here, and this is a perfect place to be. Maybe today we can go a little bit deeper. We can walk our arms out. So let's find our edge. Let's find our edge. And as we find that place where we can hold with a stretch to feel sensation without forcement, without pushing, without pulling. Once we found that, let's find stillness. Maybe even drop the head down now, and we're going to hold this pose now for about another 4 minutes or so. So maybe even after about another minute, maybe you're even starting to feel the body open up, and you can walk out to that edge a little bit further with the hands. And now let's go ahead, let's find stillness, and let's hold now, relaxing and letting go. Not worrying about what we look like, just focusing on the sensations we're feeling. And if we feel tension in any body part, talk to that body part, maybe even breathe into that body part. Tell that body part to let go. Surrender. Now let's slowly come out of our pose by bringing our attention awareness outwards, and then slowly making our way back up, taking as much time as we need to slowly come out of the pose. And even take your time bringing the legs to the center. If we want, we can even kind of wiggle the legs in or just slide them in. And then we're going to go ahead and we're going to make our way onto all fours, coming into our dragon pose to stretch out the front of the thighs, stretch out the hamstrings and the quads, or the hip flexors and the quads. So let's go ahead and let's come on to all fours, and let's start with our right leg. Take our hands over to left. We'll take our right leg and step it forward. So we're making space for our shoulders and our hips, our shoulders and our chest to come in between the right leg, so that right foot should be parallel with the side of the mat. Hands come to the center. And we're gonna hold here. We can either keep that back toe curled under, or we can release the foot. Again, find your edge. I'm gonna stay here for today. This is feeling really yummy. If you wanna go a little deeper, maybe after a minute or so, I like to kind of go slower. Some people don't need much of a warm up. They can go right into the pose to where they feel comfortable. So find the shape with your body. Remember, don't worry about what you look like. Just focus on the sensations. Letting go any worries, any fears, any judgments. And now your body may given you that invitation to go deeper. Up to you. If you'd like to go deeper, maybe you'd like to come on to the forearms. Feeling a deeper sensation now in the right hip, front of the thigh, and the hip flexor. And you can even just relax the head down, let the head curl. We're going to hold here now for about another 10 full breaths. And remember, if you're going through difficult times, I want you to breathe through those times. Maybe even talk to the body, tell the body to relax and let go. Now let's slowly bring our attention, awareness back outwards as we slowly come out of our dragon pose, bringing the palms down onto the mat and maybe coming up, holding here for a moment. And then we'll slowly come out by rocking the hips slowly backwards, and then go ahead and step that right leg back onto all fours, and maybe even take a moment to press the hip back, and then we'll come and do our dragon pose on the other side. So let's walk the hands over to the right. We'll step that left leg out to the side. Left foot is going to be parallel. We're making enough space for our shoulders, for the belly to come to the center. Wiggle the body around. Find the most comfortable position for your body. You can curl the toes under or keep them flat. This will help give us a little more support. If we don't need the support, we can release, making sure we're not rotating on the foot at all, to the left, to the right. You can hold here for a few breaths. If we're staying here, this is where our journey is today. Then maybe drop the head down, see how that feels, and then maybe after another 5 breaths, we'll see if that invitation is given to us to go deeper. into the pose. Remember, we only want to go where we feel a deep stretch but not strain. We don't want to force it. Okay, now if the body has given you that invitation to go deeper, maybe it has, but today you want to stay here. If you want to go deeper, then maybe you want to come on to the forearms for the next 10 breaths or so. Relax the head, let the head curl. Make any small adjustments you feel the body may need. Again, find stillness, and then let's hold for another 10 breaths. And let's go ahead. Let's slowly again begin to bring our attention and awareness outwards as we slowly come out of our pose, coming out of our dragon, and coming on to the palms. If you're already on the palms, stay here for another moment. And then we'll go ahead and we'll come slowly out of our dragon pose as we're gonna make our way onto our backs. So we'll rock those hips back, take that left leg back onto all fours, maybe even take a moment into child's pose, walking the hands or even sliding the hands back. And let's come over to left or right hand side of the body. We're going to be making our way down onto the mat, so stretch out the back of the legs before we end our class. So let's come to the top of the mat. We're going to slowly come down. If you need a little more leverage, a little more support, you can grab for the back of the leg to slowly come down here, using your leg for support. And let's go ahead. Let's bring that right leg in towards our chest. Maybe we'll start with our left foot flat onto the mat. Take our right leg up to the sky, and you can interlace your fingers so you can bring your hand to the back of the thigh if that's a good enough stretch for us for today. Maybe we can slide our hand onto the calf, to the ankle. Maybe we can even grab for the foot, hold here. Wherever you are, again, you want to only go where you feel comfortable, not where we're forcing it. Not really so much as an active stretch, a deep stretch, but using more gravity, using more of the sensation of relaxing the shoulders down into the mat. And as you relax your shoulders, the leg will come down. And maybe that left leg, you want to see how it feels to straighten out the left leg, bringing some sensation into the left leg, into the front of the left thigh, the left hip flexor. But if that's too much on our backs, let's bring our left foot back flat. Otherwise, wherever you are, I want you to wiggle the body around. Find the place where you feel comfortable, where we can hold. We're not forcing. We feel a good stretch. Maybe even after a few more breaths, you'll feel that leg come a little closer to the chest. We're going to hold here for about another 2 minutes or so, so just relax, try to let go. And bring all your attention, your focus and awareness on the breath, and the sensations in the body. And now let's slowly begin to bring our attention and awareness outwards as we slowly come out of the pose. Maybe sliding our hands down if they're on the ankle, maybe down to the calf, and we'll bend that right knee back into the chest. And we'll take that right foot flat and we'll bring that left knee into the chest. And then we'll go ahead, now we'll take that left leg up to the side, switching sides, either interlacing the fingers. You can grab for the thigh here. We just don't want to pull on the knee, so the hands should be below the knee or maybe above the knee, maybe at the calf or the ankle, or maybe at the feet. Grab wherever you feel comfortable. Today, maybe we did a really long run, so we're feeling really tight. Normally we can grab the feet, but for today, this is our edge. This is where we feel the most sensation for ourselves today. Now maybe you can begin to feel the body releasing the tension. And you can get deeper if you choose. It's up to you. Either by letting that knee come closer to the chest, the left knee, or maybe even extending now that right leg out. And then find that edge for yourself again. Go back to stillness, and then we're going to hold for about another 2 minutes or so. And beautiful, let's bring now our attention and awareness outwards so we can slowly begin to come out of the pose. Even by taking a nice deep inhale, and as you exhale, release that left leg back down. Maybe even now bring both legs into the body. And then we'll take our final pose, our corpse pose, as we take a moment now just to relax, to let go. Let gravity slowly open our bodies. And if we want to find some more sensation in the legs and the lower body, then we can bring the feet together into more of a reclining butterfly, or otherwise known as cobbler, bound angle. Wherever you are, I want you to just take this time now to surrender. Take this few moments we have to just be still. As we continue to hold, for about 10 more deep breaths. And let's slowly now begin to bring our attention and awareness outwards. As we slowly come out of the pose, maybe wiggle your toes and hands, drawing the knees together. Maybe you may even need to assist a little. As we make our way to the top of the mat, rolling to the left or right hand side of the body. And just take a moment here in our baby pose, bringing the knees into the chest, just as if you are waking up for the first time in the morning. We don't want to rush it. And when you're ready, and only when you're ready, press to the palm of the upper arm and find yourself in an easy cross-legged position, otherwise known as Sukhasana or easy seat. Sitting tall but not rigid. As we end our class with the chant of Om one time, if you don't feel comfortable chanting, you can go ahead and just take in all the good vibrations coming your way. Let's begin by taking a nice deep inhale, reaching our fingertips up towards the sky, drawing the palms together, and let's all lower our hands at the heart center. Inhaling in. May the long-time sun shine upon you, may love surround you, and may the light from within you guide your way on. Have a wonderful day, and as always, namaste.